بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والحمد لله رب العالمين. This is lecture number 2 that talks about evaluation criteria of suppliers. We will talk about some certain elements that gives us more details about management capabilities within suppliers' work, employees' capabilities, staff that works for the supplier, expected supplier or my current supplier. We think about the financial stability. We want to assess really the financial position of the suppliers. Also, we can add here the cost of the supplier's work. We know that when we talk about cost, we need to go to the quality very quickly, because I'm not taking the cheaper prices, but I want to assess it from two different points. Same time, my eye is kept wide open for the quality, and the other one is wide open for the cost, because we have something that should be balanced, the quality with the cost. I'm not relying on the one of them and leaving the other one without deeper understanding. Let's go to see one by one of these main elements, and we will continue the other elements with the third lecture in the evaluation criteria for supply. Number one element, we have management capability. Yes, we need to assess the potential suppliers' management. If they have a board of directors, we need to know them, who they are, what are the qualifications and abilities, how do they take decisions, and how their decisions affect their operations and products, and are they competitive enough in a wide range of other businessmen that they are working in the sector. Some certain questions we have in mind when you are visiting the board of directors, or when you are meeting with the selected board of directors coming to your facility. All the time think about, do they have a mission on the long-term basis? Do they know their vision and they have a strategic objectives? Do you know their way exactly in a pool, among a pool of suppliers that are rich in the market? Think about their abilities or the intention to invest money in R&D, research and development, and they are accepting the new ideas and creativity by others. Do the board of directors respect the TQM principles, total quality management, and they are studying the continuous improvement for the facility all the time? They want to be better all the time. They want to do better processes, better action, better production, better schedules all the time. They want to improve the work all the time. Number 5, think about the turnover rates of the managers and the employees, because the managers are the key persons guiding their organization. So if the supplier has managers are stable enough to work for multiple years, it means this is a stable organization. Think about the experience and the knowledge, the skills of the people working in the BOD, Board of Directors. Do they respect training? Do they do development programs? Do they understand what is new in the market? Add the commitment to customer service. Do they respect the Board of Directors, the managers, the customer service before, during, and after the work with the customers? Who are the customers? We are the customers. They are selling commodities to us, presenting services to us. We are the customers. So we need to think about the customer service they provide us. The long-term relationship that could be built between us and these managers. We want to have respect and trust and information exchange between us. And finally, think about the history of industrial relations. Do the board of directors have experience enough that supports their abilities to better understand the sectors, directions, and intention? These among multiple questions you should have when you are visiting, analyzing, or they are visiting you. We want to understand the capabilities of the management make sure that the management are qualified enough and they are really reliable people. So you can trust their abilities, trust their production. If you trust their abilities, you are trusting the production and you're trusting their relations with the commodities that you will receive. Number two, criteria number two, we have employee capabilities. Also, look for the people who are working for the supplier. Because people in the production facility of the supplier, the employees working in the finance department or marketing department or production department or even in the storehouse or inventory department, you need to understand their abilities. The same thing we discussed with the management. You can repeat it here again in the employee capabilities and talk about the following. Do the employees respecting quality in their processes, in their production, and they produce high quality products and present high quality services? What is their views and responses of the continuous improvement effects and factors for these employees? Do they use their head as well as their hand when they do produce, and they want to all the time make improvements in the way of doing the work? Think about the skills, the abilities, the knowledge, the experience of this workforce. Employee management relations, do they have this kind of respect between their employees and their management? Do they gather? Do they understand each other? The worker flexibility, the working conditions, the working environment, the employee morale and turnover and satisfaction. Because the employees inside the suppliers factories, they are the internal customers. If they are satisfied inside the organization of the factory of the supplier, we can respect more and trust more the abilities of the suppliers, because the organization that respects its employees, it's really respected from its customers. Moving to evaluation criteria number 3, which is very important, that talks about the stability of the financial position of the supplier. Procurement managers, they are assessing the financial positions and circumstances of the suppliers. Why? Because we want, first of all, rely heavily on someone or some organizations that support us with what is needed from products, goods and services. If the financial position is not stable, so the production will not be stable, and we could be in a risky position in comparison to other competitors. So we need to think about the poor financial conditions of the suppliers. Certain suppliers could lead to higher risk opportunities for us. If they are not stable, we could be not stable. If there is poor production, poor financial abilities, we could face the risk of bankruptcy of these suppliers in the future. Suppliers sometimes, if they are not qualified financially, they can depend heavily on us. It means without us they can go out of business. So this is a very risky position for us to keep them alive. We want to understand that they are independent enough on their abilities, and they have good markets, and their products and services are accepted everywhere. Customer satisfaction could be a single sign for strong financial position. If the operations are insufficient, inefficient, this could be reflected in their weak financial position. Take care. The financial stability, the financial numbers, the financial analysis, these are indicators of the real operational production abilities of the suppliers. So we don't know usually what happens in the suppliers' facilities, but we can read the numbers and understand between the lines that there is some operational problems, customer satisfaction problems, maintenance or technology problems within the supplier. We don't know what happens inside his home, but we can read the numbers, the financial numbers, and it can tell us more about things that nobody else will tell us. So you as a buyer, when you are assessing any supplier, take care about the financial statements, the financial position, the financial analysis of the numbers that given by the suppliers. Buyers can take a range of different financial ratios, and the financial ratios help us in monitoring and controlling and planning and following up the financial position of the organization, and it guides us whether this organization has financial stability or weak financial stability. We study the financial ratios in the financial management textbooks, but here we have a very simple table that summarizes different financial ratios. Here we have liquidity ratios, two liquidity ratios, the current ratio, we have the current assets divided by the current liabilities. We have both numbers comes from the balance sheet. The quick ratio, we deduct here the inventory from the numerator, so it's the current assets minus inventory, or you can say the cash plus receivables divided by the current liabilities. The liquidity ratios tell us that the supplier how many times can pay his short-term debt from his short-term assets. If the number of this number is high, it means the financial position is okay with the supplier. Number two group of financial ratios, they are activity ratios. We have here on the numerator side all the time sales. So you have inventory turnover, so you have sales divided by inventory. But because the inventory recorded in the cost type, not the selling prices, so we have the cost of goods sold on the numerator side. When we say fixed asset turnover, we have sales as usual divided by the other word, which is fixed assets. When we say total assets turnover, so it's sales all the time on numerator side divided by the total assets. If I want to say the current assets turnover, so it's the current assets, it's the sales divided by the current assets. If you want to say Ali turnover, so it's sales divided by Ali. It's very simple ratio. You don't need to memorize it. And the days base outstanding, DBO, talks about the payment multiplied by the number of years, number of days in the year, divided by the annual sales. It talks about days. How many days payment are outstanding? It means requested. The third group of ratios, profitability, that talks about the activity side, talks about the organization's ability of generating money of its assets, whether fixed assets, total assets, current assets, inventory, sales. So it tells about the tasks, the abilities of the organization work. Third group of financial ratios talks about profitability. Yes, we need to talk about real money that comes as income, as real profit for the organization. So we have net profit margin, it's profit after tax divided by sales. Return on assets, it's return divided by assets. Return on equity, it's return divided by equity. Return on investment, it's return divided by investment. Return on Ali, it's return divided by Ali. Okay. When we say debt ratios, the fourth group talks about the percentage of debt that the companies is facing. The companies facing. Debt to equity, it means debt divided by equity. Current debt to equity, it means current debt divided by equity. Fixed debt or long-term debt to equity, it means long-term debt divided by equity. It's a very simple equation. Interest coverage, it means how many times our earnings or our profit can cover our interest. So we have pre-tax income plus interest expenses divided by interest expenses. So the income we have it, how many times it covers the interest expenses, the interest we pay for the borrowed money. So when we say that we have the financial ratios, it's a guideline for us. It gives us indicators about the real work of the organization. So collecting this kind of information gives us real direction of our suppliers' abilities or financial position. I know that still we have the cost. We want to talk about the cost. But because we talk much about the financial ratios and the financial abilities, I prefer that we take the cost to the other lecture in order to have it in comparison with quality. Why? Because we want to have both sides working together, and we are assessing them together. Still we have multiple evaluation criteria factors. They are very simple, very easy, and we can talk about them in the third and final lecture about the evaluation criteria for suppliers. Thank you very much for your careful listening and attention. Wait, don't go away. Wait for the third lecture. Thank you very much.